So I love sweaters, but I don't love what I do to them. I am always accidentally shrinking them. Well, if you're anything like me, I have got the projects for you because we are going to make them into something that everybody needs, and this might even change your life because you're gonna realize just how easy it is to make a hat. A few different winter hats are in style this year, and we are going to make them all. The slouchy Pom Pom Beanie, the jeweled beanie, and the knot twist urban ear warmer. Let's start with the slouchy Pom Pom Beanie. This was a theory sweater I got for $7 at the thrift store, and I loved it until it shrunk. However, it is still great material. This is nice, thick wool, and it's gonna be great to work with. See that cuffing on the bottom of the sweater? That's the kind of sweater that will work the best with this design. Now I turned my sweater inside out, grabbed a beanie I already had with a cuff, and then I unrolled that cuff, including it into the measurement to get an idea of how long I should be making this. I traced a line, then I cut out that shape front and back. Then I pinned my right sides together and I set my sewing machine on a zigzag stitch to allow for some stretch. Then I stitched along the outside of the hat, so along that curve, starting from where the cuff began and on up. Do not stitch along the cuff itself yet. This is very important. You're going to see why in just a second. I then turned the hat right side out and pinned the edges of my cuffs together like so, and then I stitched them together this way. Now this is because once you flip this cuff up, it's going to be on the opposite side from the top of the hat. So this way your seams are hidden in the top section of the hat and on the bottom cuff. Now clip off any excess sweater material on the inside of the hat as close as you can to those seams without accidentally clipping the stitching. This is going to make sure it doesn't look like something sticking out of your head and bumpy under the hat. Now they are currently selling the super trendy faux fur pom-poms in the knitting section of Joann's, which is where I found this one for just a few bucks. Once I was done stitching the hat, I simply used matching embroidery thread to stitch and attach the pom-pom to the center top seam of my hat. You guys, this was a 15-minute project. It was so fast and easy. I just can't believe how easy it was to make this hat. But let's say you don't want a slouchy hat. You want a fitted beanie. Well, there is a way to do that too, and guess what? It's even faster. Here's how to do it. First, you're going to grab a beanie or hat that you already own, and you're going to slap it down on your sweater like so. Line it up with the bottom of your sweater so the hat matches the bottom hem of your sweater that you're about to cut. Then go ahead, trace and cut out that shape. Be careful that you are evenly cutting, of course, the front and back if you're doing it at the same time like I am. Then decide which side you want to be the outside of your hat. I felt like the weird furry fabric actually looked better on the inside, so I just flipped it around. I placed both right sides, the ones that I wanted to show, down, facing each other, and pinned them together. Now, still using the zigzag stitch, I then simply stitched all the way around that curve, except for that bottom part of the hat, of course. Now, you might think you're done, but you're not done. If you leave it like this, it's gonna be the same slouchy hat, just like our Pom Pom Beanie. But if you want it fitted to the top of your head, listen up. This is the easiest way I came across to do this. I can't believe how easy this is. Just take your hat, position it like so, so that that side seam we just created is now laying down in the very middle. Then take a bowl or something curved and put it in position in the center of the hat. Lay it down about an inch or so from the top of your hat. Trace that shape. Now you just need to stitch along that line. You can take it back to the sewing machine, or if your material is thick like mine, you can just simply stitch along the line by hand with a needle and thread. That's honestly probably the easiest way to do this step. When you're finished, simply clip off as much excess fabric as possible, once again being careful not to accidentally snip any part of the seam that you've just created. This is going to once again take away any bulk, prevent the hat from looking like there's something weird underneath it. The color, however, was a little bland for me, so I was inspired by the embellished beanies sold by the fashion industry right now. So I found this broken necklace in my closet, and I just used some pliers to take it apart. Now position the pieces where you want them, and then you can just sew them on with embroidery thread right through those loops that were used to connect the pieces to the chain of the necklace before. Now I have to say this is not my favorite color on me, but it is a super comfortable hat. I really like the fit of it, so I'm definitely going to be making more like this, and maybe even some with pom-poms too. Now last option, we are going to get fancy. It's a knotted twist turban style headband ear warmer. They're really popular right now. We're gonna make one that's also super warm because it's lined with recycled fleece. Now, I buy a lot of clothes at thrift stores, and sometimes I sell them on Poshmark and Mercari, and I bought this kid's jacket for that purpose, and I didn't notice at the time that it was melted in some places. So, I am ready for it to become something new. The sweater that I'm using, I also found at the thrift store. It was already shrunk, but also by a great designer brand, so we're talking about good quality material here. It was only $2, so I knew I could salvage it into something and save it from the landfill, so that's what we're gonna do right now. First, I took a headband I already had, then I placed it on my sweater, and I cut out a shape that was about a 1/2 inch wider. That is to accommodate my seam allowance. I also left extra length on the ends for what will become the twist knot. Now, note that I cut from this side of the sweater, so when I was done, this was just all one long piece instead of two. Then I hacked off the sleeve from this kid's jacket, and I cut out a piece front and back that exactly fit the size of my headband. So no extra seam allowance or length here. You want this piece to be shorter and more narrow than your sweater piece. Now first, I just sewed the two fleece pieces together so that they were also one long strip, just like my sweater piece. Then I put the right side down and stitched the ends of the sweater and the fleece together on one side. Then I stretched and put the other two sides together and also stitched those two sides down together. Then when you're done with that, all you have to do is just flip that inside out just like that. And the fleece is going to stay hidden inside the band, and you will not be able to see it when you are wearing it. Now, I also, just to make this whole thing easier, did stitch down the remaining sides of the sweater piece just to keep them in place and get that twist knot. You're gonna lay your strip down just like this, then fold it over itself and line up the ends. Then put the far corner of your top piece in the middle of the bottom piece, and then fold the excess under. Then fold the excess of your bottom piece over the top, so kind of like an accordion fold. Then I safety pinned my little accordion together and used a needle and thread just to stitch a straight line along that accordion to hold it into place. And then all you gotta do is clip off the excess sweater pieces and flip it right side out, and that is it. Here are the final results. Let me know in the comments 3 different things. What was your favorite project out of the 3? And second, what is your trick to not ruin your sweaters? How do you wash them? I need to know. And we still have plenty of scraps left, so we are just getting started. This is just the first video in my series of sweater refashions. If you want to see the rest, definitely hit the subscribe button so you don't miss those videos. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.